What's up, Pirates? Wraith here, and we're back with another video. Today, as you can see on screen, we have the starter decks that just released, and we have the SR leaks, or not even leaks, they just finally released only the SRs and the new cards for the purple deck, which is ST26, and the black deck, which is ST27. And so we're going to go over those, but we get these cards June 6th. This is the same time as OP11. So we're going to have a completely different meta than the East did as they're, going through OP11. Obviously, we have the bans as well. They didn't. And so it's going to be crazy. So we actually have the card list for both of the decks, and I just want to go over the cards, talk about them a little bit. For the most part, it's obviously just a bunch of reprints, but we do have 4 new cards if I'm not mistaken. So we have our first new card, Soba Mask. It is a Sanji, and it says if you have a Sangoro or Sanji character with 7,000 base power or more, give this card in your hand -5 cost, and then on play, return all of your Sangoro and Sanji characters to the owner's hand, which is like insane, right? So technically, if you have 9-drop Zoro out on field, you can play this for 2 cost and you bring back the 9-cost Zoro, which is super good. And so I even saw somebody on Twitter post a combo where, like, if you just so happen to have a 5-drop kid on the board, the blocker, you can go ahead and play 9-cost Sanji. 9-cost Sanji goes and plays a 9-cost mom, because obviously that's how 9-cost Sanji works, right? You play 9-cost mom, and then boom, you could go ahead and play this because you get one of the Dawn back. The Dawn -1 from the 9 mom, you can go ahead and play this out for 2. So you still get to establish both of your 9k bodies, but one is just a 7/9 instead of 2 9/9s. But now you have a Sanji back in your hand to go ahead and play again the following turn, right? So if you're playing blue, purple, Luffy, you can go ahead and do your 9-cost. You can do your 9-cost turn, right? Leader effect 9-cost turn. Boom. Get the 9-cost Sanji back. Now you can do it again next turn. And technically, you're going double 9k bodies, double 9k bodies more consistently, which is like super interesting. And this is also Straw Hat, so it's searchable. I think this is a really fun card. I think this card is very, very powerful. Even just using 2 Dawn to drop this on the board, like even if you don't have other Sanjis, I guess technically you have to have one, right? Because it's 7,000 base power more, otherwise it doesn't get the -5. And so you would, you still get to play a 2-cost 9,000 power body, which is like insane, right? You could always just like swing with the character, play this out, continue your whole turn. You still have 8 Dawn to work with, which is insane. Next up, we have a Tony Chopper that says it's a blocker. It's a 3/4 blocker. On play, Dawn -2, rest up to one of your opponent's Dawn cards or characters with cost 1 or less. So I guess this is like a counter to Gum Giant, people leaving up a Dawn. The resting of a 1 cost is like not that relevant, I don't believe. But this is also very good in blue purple Luffy, right? Blue purple Luffy, you Dawn -2 early on. Guess what? Hey, we can ramp our Dawn, not have to worry. We get 1 rested, 1 active. But this is not a Dawn -2. We just get to rest up one of our Dawn cards, one of your opponent's Dawn cards, or one of their characters. So I think this is a fun card. I don't see it being too strong, but you don't know like if it will fit in the meta, I guess you could say. But it's an interesting card. Then we have another Dawn -2 card, which is like Dawn -2 is like blue purple Luffy territory, right? So let's read what this card does. It is one of the SRs. So it says, Dawn -2, on play Dawn -2, no, add up to one of your Dawn cards from your Dawn deck and set it as active. So it is just another option on your 3 Dawn turn to get a ramp. Also with the Zoro, right? So where's the Zoro? This is Zoro, right? So both of these are about the same, right? It just gives you another option to be able to ramp on your 3 Dawn. So it just makes it a little bit more consistent, in my opinion. Oh, and is this okay? So it looks like this starter deck is for exactly the black purple Luffy, and not the actual just purple Luffy. But it looks like there's only 1 black card in the whole deck, which is funny. But that's how it is. That's fine, as long as some of these cards help the deck get better. Okay, so we have a Frankie here. On play, Dawn -2, give up to 2 of your opponents -2,000 power during this turn. Not sure how good this is. I don't actually play blue purple Luffy, so I'm not sure The amount of scenarios where like this could be really good, like already having a board established, like or the deck does flood out bodies pretty consistently. Because like you can just go like 3-drop, and then there's turns where you can go like 3-drop, 4-drop Frankie blocker, stuff like that. So maybe you can like, you know, squeeze this in somewhere. It is a pretty big body, right? And the deck can get to 8 down pretty quickly and have a good time and not be like, you know, worried about dying. I'm not sure how it does into the new faster decks, but blue purple I think is you know, the strongest deck. So, you know, as long as it can have a good time into that, I think like, you know, you can warrant cards like that. So here is the second SR. On play or when attacking, Dawn -2. If your leader is multicolored and your opponent has 5 or more Dawn cards on their field, your Straw Hat type leader base power becomes 7,000 until the end of your opponent's next end phase. Wow. So very, very good card. This is like super good. It makes you more tanky. You get to establish a body. This is a turn. Maybe you can even leave your whole board standing and not have to swing out so your opponent can clear board. I think this is a good card. I think this is a good card. This is definitely something you could see be ran in the deck. From my opinion, these two SRs aren't like super powerful, but we still have 5 more decks, guys. We have 5 more decks with 10 more SRs we have to go through. And so like I 100% guarantee we're going to have a different meta than the East did with all blue purple Luffy, because if there is a card that can make that matchup easier on one of these decks, that deck might be the deck that we play in this meta. And so that is it for this deck. Let's go ahead and go over the Blackbeard cards. So they only ended up giving us 2 starter decks. I'm not sure if we're getting the rest of them, you know, in like a week, in like 2 weeks before they come out, but we got 2 for now, and so I'm not going to complain. This is the Blackbeard starter deck, already a super powerful deck. But let's go over some of these new cards here. What is this? That's just the vanilla. Everything else looks about the same. Okay, so here's our first new card. It is a 1 cost 1,000 power unit. It says activate main once per turn. You may rest one of your full lead cards, which is the stage. If your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type, this character gains plus 4,000 power during this turn, and then on KO, draw 1 card. So let me tell you, this card here is actually pretty good. If blue purple Luffy wasn't like the best deck, this card would actually be pretty insane. Any 6,000 power leader, this card is probably irrelevant. And like, if that's like the #1 best deck, I'm not sure you run this card, especially because like the card is like decent. I don't think it's amazing, but if you can high roll your opponents that are 5,000 power, like for example, let's say you play this on 1, on your 3 Dawn turn, you go stage plus a Lafitte, right? And your opponent didn't play anything on 2 Dawn, you can only swing 5,000 twice. Now you have a Lafitte and this card rested. So your opponent on their 4 Dawn has to choose between killing one of the 2, right? Are they going to take 2 5,000 swings next turn with this and leader, or are they going to let you search, right? Obviously, they probably kill your searcher, but like this gives you so much early pressure that like going into your mid to late game is going to be like so free. Like I don't know if you like you have that start, I don't know if you ever lose any game, because this also draws you a card. So this card is really good in my opinion. It's really good. I just don't think with, you know, blue purple Luffy being the best deck, green purple Luffy being top 3, 2 decks that are consistently at 6,000 power, one of them is just naturally 6,000. I don't think you would ever run this card just because it has to take up space in a deck that already like lacks space, right? The Blackbeard decks are very tight paws. And like, I don't know if you really can see like you running this card. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think you would run that card. Next up, we have a Katarina Devon. You may so activate main. You may trash this character if your leader has the Blackbeard type. Give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 during this turn. So it's a 1 cost -1. But you have to trash the character, which means you don't get the on KO draw 1. So here we have 2 more on KO draw 1s. I guess this is okay because sometimes you would want that -1, right? There's like, oh, I need a -1. I need a -1. It is a 2K as well. So we can probably replace the Shiryus and just add these 2Ks instead. And just have the access to a -1, right? Like, obviously this is a -2 already, but you have to trash a card. Yeah, you get to replace it, but you still go -1, right? The Devon here, you just go -1, the 1/2K in your hand, which is fine. You don't have to cycle. So they basically are about the same, right? They're basically about the same. except, you know, on KO, this draws one, and you can set this up, right? You can set this up a turn before for one Dawn. This one you couldn't set up. Oh, you can set up as well. I guess like you just get a new 2K, you know, have the option to have a -1. Yeah, you probably run that over the Shiryu, to be honest. This was like good in OP09 Blackbeard mirrors, which like never happened. The Shiryu, you could play it on 3, your opponent wouldn't be able to answer on 4. You know, now you can just Shiryu the Shiryu on 4. So this card doesn't really matter. We could definitely swap out these 2Ks. Next, let's talk about our first SR. Our first SR from the Blackbeard starter deck. It is a 6,000 power, 6 cost blocker that says on KO, play up to 1 Blackbeard Pirates type character card with cost 5 or less from your trash rested. So what this means is you can play this card. You can be really aggressive and not care if your opponent swings into it. Why? Because unlike the other Kuzan, the 5-drop, let me just show you. It should be in this deck. It is actually not. Unlike the other 5-drop Kuzan, that when it is rested and it dies, it just dies, and you have to forcefully activate main to get a character. This is on KO. So if your opponent is ever swinging into it, you do not care because you are bringing a Burgess that's going to be 12,000 power out. This card is broken. I think you definitely run this card just because you can be aggressive with it. Not only that, on turns you need a stall. Not only can you stall with this card and block, keep yourself where you need to be life-wise, not die, not lose the match, but now on your following turn, you have a Burgess that is going to just destroy your opponent. So late game, where you're like thinking of a blocker you need to grab, it's like, okay, cool, let me Kuzan and get a Vasco shot out, or let me Vasco shot, pop their unit and try to survive another turn. You could just play this Kuzan now, and now we have a chance to not only live, but we have a chance to, you know, go for lethal on our next turn if they actually swing, because you could just let this die. You bring out a Burgess that's never going to die in the late game with so much power. I think this card is super busted. Blackbeard just got a huge upgrade in my opinion. It is kind of costly, but late game where it's like you're going, you know, 1 for 1, 1 for 1. If you could just bring this out, let it die, you get a 11,000 power Burgess on board because of this. You're in an infinitely better spot. I think this Kuzan is going to have a real change in this meta. It's gonna be good. That's definitely a great card. Next up, we have a 4 cost 6,000 power. It says if your leader has Blackbeard Pirates type, this character gains blocker and +1 cost for every 4 cards in your trash. So a very, very sticky body. Obviously in the late game, this is going to be like, you know, 8 costs, 9 costs, whatever it may be, which is insane. Obviously in the mirror, you can just go ahead and black hole it, you know, not a big deal. But then on play, you trash 1 card from your hand. So that seems kind of bad. I'm not going to lie. The trash one is not doing it for me. Obviously it's a blocker that's pretty sticky in the late game, but trashing 1 just feels really bad in this deck. As like, obviously you used to struggle with card draw. We have the new Kuzans now, but like, why are we trashing a card when we could just play a Burgess for 4 Dawn and it just can't ever be KO'd? And like within 2 turns is going to be a 7-8K. So I don't think you play this card. I realistically can't see it, especially with having to trash 1 from hand. All right, and now we're going to talk about the very last SR that we have. It is Marshall D. Teach, a 7 cost, 8,000 power. Activate main. You may rest this character. KO up to 1 character with cost 3 or less, and then on KO, add up to 1 black card from your trash to your hand. So this card is just straight up busted. On your 5 Dawn, you can play Kuzan, have an Augur in your trash, or you could just play an Augur. Because your Augur can get cleared on your 5. So yeah, you play Kuzan, have an Augur in your trash. You play this on 7. You bring out an Augur, you're killing a 6 cost. Whatever they played on 6, you're killing the 6 cost. Now you have Augur rested. Now you have this Teach rested. And this is basically a better Jack, right? Only issue is it's actually just a 7 cost. So like people can remove it on their 8 Dawn potentially. I know Lucci can. There's ways for sure. I'm not sure how other decks deal with this. I guess Katakuri, no one really runs yellow decks. It's out of range from Big Mom. I think this is like a really good card. I think like not only that, like it replaces itself. I think that's the best thing. It's like this card is going to be such a good removal deck. Like I'm just thinking on how we can build this Blackbeard deck to be super insane. I think Blackbeard might be one of the top contenders because of this card here, which is going to be like so good for you. yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna try to, you know, theory craft some deck lists on the side, and you know, maybe show them off when I feel one is ready. But this is definitely a deck that I'm going to explore. But you know, shout outs to Bandai. We got 2 decks that they showcased for us. But there is 6, guys. There is actually 6 of them. So you know, we got to wait and see for the rest of them, but that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to check out my Metafy for any competitive content. Like this video, comment down below, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow, for real. No, like, I'm not even joking. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow. Peace.